What's up, you beautiful people, you of the interweb, watching wherever you're watching Ask StreamYard today. So excited you are here. My name is Kevin Colby, in case we haven't met, and you are? Let me know who you are and where you're watching from in the comments. And by the way, we've got a great topic today. Basically, we had two questions we're going to share in just a second from two folks. And it was like, how do I live stream or record a meeting? Now, I'm going to give you the quick answer right now, but just don't go away. Can you do that with StreamYard? Yes, Virginia, there is a StreamYard. I know, I'm just threw that out there. It is really easy, and I use this all the time. So, going to be a great show. And in fact, I'm going to have in a little bit couple of friends joining me to demonstrate just how easy it is to host a meeting on here and bring people in and stuff like that. But if at any time during today you have a question about today's topic, drop it in the comments. But do me a favor, use the hashtag Ask, and that way, as we're zipping through the comments, it's easier just to hone in on it and stuff like that. But we love it. We absolutely love it when you do that. And by the way, I want to throw this out there. If you would like to have your question featured in an upcoming episode of Ask StreamYard, all you've got to do is wherever you ask it on social media. I mean, it could be on the Facebook group, which, by the way, if you're not part of the Facebook community, I mean, why? Why not? It's a fantastic community. You get to meet other StreamYarders and other streamers, ask questions, share your wins. It's really cool. But wherever you might have a question and you want it maybe featured, like the two questions we're going to feature today, use hashtag Ask StreamYard, and that way the people who cultivate things of that will do that. So already got a lot of people popping in. Whoa, look at that. We got who else? Who all do we have here? We've got Teresa. Hello. How's it going? We've got Love Revival TV. We also got some folks already saying hello and some love. Look at that. I love. You can't ever go wrong with a lot of heart emojis, can you? Patrick C. Roy checking in the house. Who else we got here? Jazzy K. Ward. Dude, I love that name. I love the name Jazzy. Kevin's okay. Excited about this idea. Glad to hear that. Angie saying, yay. Who else we got here? And Angie's also from in the UK. Good to see you. I'm in the US of A. Ike, what's up? Oh, look at this. Daisy, what's up? Watching from the Philippines. We've also got Nicaragua in the house. Who are this? Thorhaven Farm. How's it going today? Watching from northern Quebec, Canada. This is really, really cool. Richard Black checking in, saying good morning. And Veronica Rain. Hey, Kevin, nice to meet you. I'm from Houston, Texas. Nice to meet you too. Got a couple more we're going to get to right here. Oh, wow. There's a lot. So, Stuart, hey, good to see you too, my friend from Scotland. And if I didn't get to the rest of you, I apologize, but keep them coming. And remember, if you have a question about anything we're talking about today, hashtag ask in the comments. And that way it's just a little easier for us to keep up with. So today we're answering the question, how do you live stream and record a meeting? And again, StreamYard just makes this so easy. Now look, I've been using StreamYard a long time. In fact, StreamYard is a proud. I'm proud that they're a sponsor. Did I say that right? They sponsor my live streams every Friday. I live stream every Friday at 11 a.m. Eastern on my channel, and so excited that they're a sponsor of that. But I've been using StreamYard for a long time because it's so easy. It's so easy to bring guests in and add graphics and different things, and then you can live stream and or record it, and we're going to show you a little bit of that. So let me show you the two questions, though, that kind of sparked this. The first one was from Philippe. Philippe said, hey, I think that's how he typed it. How do I record a meeting without live streaming? It's important to me to edit later, to edit the video later. Fantastic question, because sorry, I whacked my glasses. Fantastic question, because I do think that a lot of times what people think is that, well, I've got to live stream, and I love live streaming, but you can actually use StreamYard just to record. We'll talk about that in a second. And the other question came, and they're kind of the same. That's why we wanted to feature them both, but it's from Derek, and it says, can StreamYard be used for meetings like a person would use Zoom? I like the screen sharing feature in StreamYard a lot better than the one in Zoom. I got to be honest, this is not to show any disrespect to Zoom, but I'm not a big Zoom user. I use it for meetings sometimes if I get called to a meeting, but I will actually a lot of times use StreamYard for my meetings. Here's a little power tip for you. So I'm a video coach in real life, right? Besides a live streamer and content creator. And I've actually used StreamYard to connect with potential clients, because so like, for example, if I'm setting up a call with somebody and they want to talk about coaching, a lot of times I'll do the call through StreamYard, because one, they get to see the camera I'm connected with, and I'm using a Canon M50 Mark II, so it looks really good. And it sounds good because I'm using the mic. So I want them to see that, but then I also want them to see how cool it is doing something like this. And almost always they go, wow, that looks really neat. How are you doing that? How are you managing to like bring your name in and out, or change your name, or change the look of it? And those are just some things you can't do. So 2 great questions. And by the way, since we used both of those questions from from Derek and Philippe, they're both going to get StreamYard t-shirts. So there's another advantage of us highlighting your questions. So again, anytime, day or night, whatever day, holidays, it doesn't matter. If you have a question and you think, man, this is something I would like featured, not only do I want an answer, I'd like it featured on the show, use hashtag Ask StreamYard. And if we use your question, like we did Derek and Philippe, you'll get a really cool StreamYard shirt. So let's get into some of the things that you can do. So the short answer is, can you live stream and or record a meeting? And you can. So if you think about this, like if you're live streaming, wherever you're live streaming to, they don't really care what you're live streaming. In other words, you could do a meeting, you could do your regular live stream, you could do a presentation or whatever. So if you have a meeting and you want more people to see, then live stream it, and something like StreamYard. So here's an advantage. Here's a major advantage, going back to Derek's question about over Zoom and even over Google, is that when you're using those programs, and there's nothing wrong with those programs, right? But when you're using those, then you're basically having everybody come to you, right? But when I'm using StreamYard and I want to live stream, I can go to almost any platform. And when I say almost, I mean, you obviously have to have access, but let's just say I can go to my Facebook page, a Facebook group, my profile. I can go to LinkedIn, Periscope. I don't know. Is that still around? I can go to Twitch. I can go to YouTube. I can go to multiple YouTube channels. I can even go to Amazon Live, which is how when I live stream on Amazon Live, that's how I use StreamYard. So think about that. You're not limited to a location where everybody has to come to. You can say, hey guys, we're gonna do this meeting, whether it's local, global, or wherever, and we're gonna create this broadcast and we're gonna send it out. And that's a huge advantage, because then if you have folks, they may be watching you on Facebook, they may be on LinkedIn, they may be on YouTube. They're not limited on how they access you. See, that's pretty cool. So let's talk about that for just a second. So let's say you want to live stream your meeting and you want to go to YouTube. But you don't want the whole World Wide Web to see it. What I would do is set it up in advance and make it unlisted. And by making it unlisted, you get a link that you can share with anybody. And, you can set it. I think YouTube allows you to set it up for almost a month in advance. The only way to be able to watch your meeting live streamed on YouTube at that point would be having that link. So you don't have to worry about everybody seeing it. So now I've seen some people do this and they get a little tripped up. You can't just start a YouTube channel and immediately go live. You have to verify the channel. But if you know in advance that you're gonna be doing more of this on YouTube, but you want to have a different channel, start your channel, get it verified, and then you could use it for your meetings and things like that. And then it's always going to be there. And when the meeting's over, if you don't want anybody to see it again, just change the link from unlisted to private. Or if you say, this was a good meeting, I really want everybody to see this, you could change it from unlisted to public. And just know the differences on YouTube. Public, everybody sees it. Unlisted, only people with the link see it. And private, nobody sees it but you. Yeah, there's some ways that you can share the link with a password. I find it very confusing to do that. That is a huge example. Huge example. That's a huge thing. Now, before I've got two guests in the back room. They're waiting. They're doing their makeup right now. I see them smiling. They're waving. Evidently, we all need more coffee, but that's okay. You can't ever have too much coffee, right? Let me know in the comments. Can you ever have too much coffee? I don't think so. Even when I'm having coffee, I want more coffee. But that's a different show. Probably a different problem. There's a lot of things about StreamYard that will make it so easy for you to do your next meeting. I'm going to give you one of the huge reasons right now, and it was one of the questions that Philippe asked. He doesn't want to live stream it. In fact, let me just go back to that question. He doesn't want to live stream it. He's just wanting to record a meeting. Well, this is like the secret weapon that StreamYard has that I get just excited about. So like right now, while I'm live streaming this, it's automatically recording it in the cloud. It's not later. It's like right now. So the second we're done, when I hit end broadcast, it's going to be there. So when you're in your StreamYard dashboard, when you always sign in, there's a tab that says past broadcasts. That's where you're going to find all of your recorded live streams. But if you also use StreamYard just to record, that's where they're going to show up too. Big win right there. That's all. It's that easy. Now, keep in mind, you only have 15 days to get those, and you have to be on one of the paid plans to take advantage of that. So what I do is, and again, I use StreamYard a lot just to record. Actually, I use it to record video podcasts, but I've used it to do meetings. And you're going to see in just a second when I bring my two guests in, which I think you'll recognize, how easy it is to do that. And so whether you're live streaming, you get a recorded version of it. Or like Philippe is asking, you can just use it to record a meeting, and then you'll have it there. And then you have 15 days to download it. You can download it and edit it. You can share it. You can do with whatever. One of the power tips that I would recommend is, and it's something I do, whenever I use StreamYard to live stream or just record, the minute it's over, I go ahead and download it. And the reason I do that is because I don't want to, like 2 weeks later, go, did I download that? And then it's gone. I mean, 15 days is a heck of a long time to forget to not to do it, right? So what I would recommend is go ahead and download it right then. And believe it or not, it doesn't take a long time, and it'll even tell you. And if you're on the bigger plan, the pro plan, you can even download the audio track separately too, which is absolutely amazing. And then at that point, you can share that back to YouTube. You could put it, I know some folks that will put it in Dropbox or Google Drive to send it to some other folks. Just absolutely amazing. So let me show you right now one of the key things about having a meeting on here. All right. It's bringing in guests. Ladies and gentlemen, let's bring in Christian.
How we doing?
Let's bring in Mel. Holy guacamole.
What's going on?
All right,
Well,
I
we
want to
gotta
hear
get
in the
our heads-
comments right now who's got the best hair.
Oh, come on.
Definitely
Sorry,
not me.
Christian.
I don't think I'm getting one.
Sorry. That'll be the last time Christian ever takes any of my calls. So
All good.
here's why I asked these guys on. First of all, they're just really cool, aren't they?
I mean,
Thanks.
We
Kevin.
could sit here and wait for somebody to say yes in the comments, but we'll just keep going. Oh, look at you! I don't even have my shades.
Can't help you guys there today.
I got my blue dollar glasses.
I like it.
So let's assume that we're having a meeting. So you saw how easily I brought them on. Now, we can change layouts, and I'm not going to get into like custom layouts and things like that. You can do a lot of stuff, but right now, this is an easy layout. But a lot of folks like to go to this.
Mm-hmm.
You can change your background. So like this is the StreamYard background. It's like kind of like always that party background. I like it, even though there should be little puddles down there, should be somewhere. But for my live stream show, I have a different background. For your meeting, you could have a different background. You could have a meeting with your branding on it. See, like right there, powered by StreamYard just popped up. Mm-hmm. So that's how easy it is. Now, let's say though, I ask a question and I want Mel and Christian to kind of just riff on it. I can easily. So I'm going to ask you guys a question about just, briefly tell me about what you do in life and watch. And we're going to start with Mel, but I'm going to take myself.
Oh, there he goes.
Well, he took himself completely out, by the way.
He did.
Like totally out of the live stream. So here's the thing. Part of it is Kevin's not in the live stream at the moment. So therefore, for example, he could, you could have like an admin assistant, for example.
Mm-hmm.
Say you have them set up a meeting and you want them to be able to, kind of set the meeting up, maybe manage some of the comments, the notes, things like that. That is one actual way you could use this. So if Kevin were the assistant, he could set up the meeting and say, hey guys, I'm setting up the meeting, and just leave us be, right?
Which would be, that would be awesome and that person can, let's say you want to do a presentation and you want to share slides, but you don't want to have to worry about controlling that stuff. You could have an admin backstage like Kevin is right now. At least I hope to God he is. I can't see him, but
He's still there.
There he is. He's back. So you could have that admin actually even control your show like Kevin is right now. He's moving things around and, sharing screens and all that stuff. So I love that we had that little example because you could have a person help you with your actual meeting, but not be in the meeting.
Yeah,
Hopefully,
yeah. And the advantage of the way I just removed myself from it, which is you got to be careful because if you literally take yourself completely out, that's different. Is it mutes my mic as well? Mm-hmm. Now I can also just take myself out and still talk and hear me and it's like there we go like Mel is doing right now, and even I can solo Mel as she's doing that.
I like how it pulses when I talk.
Yeah, isn't that pretty cool? And so that gives you another advantage. And then we can exit that. So now so you're saying, well, probably Kevin, that's really cool. You got 3 people, but what if I have more? Oh, you can have more. You can have up to 10 people on screen, which is like more than the Brady Bunch, I think, had in their entire, I think there were only 8, right? Well, if you included Alice, there's 9. So there we go. I'm dating myself, which is weird because I'm married. So anyway, but you can have up to 10 people. Which is phenomenal. That doesn't mean you have to have all 10 people on screen at the same time. But let's say we had a couple of more people, we could do that. Again, how easy it is to solo. There's Mel. There's Christian. And then it can come back. And then as Christian even was showing it, I think he was the one moving around. But you can easily change positions of people. And not even in just that. So it's like, oh, okay, I really want to be over here. Since I'm the host, so I go all the way over there. You can move things around. So the disadvantage to having a lot of people on screen, see if you guys would agree though, is that if everybody's talking at once in a meeting, it can get just a little crazy. Wouldn't you guys say?
And yeah, definitely. By the way, that's good. You got to figure out what direction you need to look.
I know. I was like,
yeah, it's like you try. See, mine's easy now because I can do.
Yeah, mine is too.
Yeah, there we go. Nope, see the wrong way. But that is a huge advantage. Now, something else to know, and if you notice their names are on screen, and if you notice something else, when Christian signed on, for those of you watching, this would be like one of those, Easter egg movie things. He had something else on his name, and he evidently edited it off, but I could edit his name right here. So I'm going to show you something. You actually can't see me doing this, but if I go in here and it says edit name, I'm going to take off his last name only because I can't pronounce it. And there we go. It just changed it. So I could even do that on mine. So let's say we just want to get a little cozy here. Bang. So that's how quickly you can change somebody's name, or you have a guest or somebody in your meeting that they forgot to put their name in, or you want to put everybody's social media handle. It's that easy. But let's say you don't want their names up the whole time. You ready? It's a special feat. You have to actually blow on the StreamYard screen. I don't know if you guys do that.
That was very good, Kevin, actually. Yeah. That was well done, actually.
Hang on, ready?
It's magic.
And it's, but no, seriously, there is on the display, it's a display names or not. So that's one of the things you can decide when you're doing it. You may say, like Philippe was asking, he wants to just record a meeting for later. He may want to add the names in post later. He may not want them there the whole time. He may want them to look different, which again is one of the cool things you can do. So like right now, so you have like 4 options. So you can see our names. This is the default option. This one is called minimal. I just love the little animations too. That one's called bubble. And that one's called block. So again, you've got 4 built-in themes in StreamYard that you don't have to do anything in advance. You can just go in and do it that way. And again, if you want to undisplay them, undisplay them. Now, let's say you want to share a screen. Like Christian.
Actually, let me do one thing. Yeah, so what I want to do real quick, I want to show people how they actually turn those display names off.
Yeah.
So
okay, you want me to add that?
Yeah, go ahead. Feel free to add that, and I'll walk them through it. So here I am. I've opened a separate StreamYard dashboard so you guys can see this. You don't see the,
Inception,
the Inception
the wall of mirrors. Yeah.
But basically, it's very simple. So in your StreamYard dashboard, if you want to turn off the names, as Kevin showed you there, all you do is go into the brand tab on the right-hand side of your dashboard. And then if you go all the way to the bottom, there's this option that says show display names. And all you have to do is, in this case, I'll add myself to this. This is actually me in another stream. I'm going to just check that. And there you go. It turns off. Or I can do Kevin's little trick.
I like it.
By the way, I think that's going to become an
That's a new thing.
Yep. That's pretty cool.
Totally new thing. Totally new thing.
So that's how you can do that for your meetings. You can, for example, if you want to record the meeting and you don't necessarily need people's names on there, turn them off, for example, or if you're in a meeting and you want everyone to have their name on, you turn it off, turn it on. So I'm turning it back over to you, Kevin.
Well, actually, while you've got that there, can you scroll up and show the brand? So like right there, that's where, you can see the themes right there that I was showing you just a second ago. So they're the ones. So like for the show today, let me turn ours on. For the show today, I'm using Bubble.
Okay, there's Bubble.
So you can see that there. But what's really nice is it also will take on the let's do this. It'll also take on the look of your banner. So you have a section in there called banners. It's right there. If you can click up on that.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. And okay, right there, what Christian just showed you is another kind of cool inside peek. Let me take this off. Is that you can create as much ahead of time as you want. If you do multiple meetings, let's say you have a Monday meeting and a Tuesday meeting and a client meeting and a secret meeting or whatever, you can create things for like that. If you do shows, again, I use StreamYard for different projects. So I actually have folders for different things. You can have everything set up, including your brand colors. And so like right now, he's got whatever, is that kind of a goldish yellow as a brand color?
Yeah.
We're using green for StreamYard. I use red for my stuff. Mel, do you have a color?
Yeah, I got lots of them. Purples and pinks and all kinds of stuff. Gradients. But yeah, we've got all kinds of colors. And I do the same thing. I have a different folder for different purposes. I actually also stream for more than one organization. And so I have a folder for each of those shows. And then I have folders for my own personal show types as well. So I love the folder feature. But One thing I was going to say that, and I don't know if Kevin, you touched on this, but it would be great to show it while you have Christian's screen, would be one of the things I love about using StreamYard for meetings. I mean, it literally has all the same features as the, so and so popular meeting software that we have to pay for to have meetings longer than 40 minutes. We won't name any names. But one of the things I love is that you still have a chat box. So you have a private chat. So just like in all those other applications you can use and pay for to run meetings, you have a private chat as well. So you can be chatting with each other. You can put links in there for you and your guests in your meeting. So, and I love how you touched on that you don't have to stream it. You can literally just open up a stream, never click go live, and y'all are having a meeting. You know what I mean? But you also can record it, as you said earlier, which again, all these features sound really familiar. So if you're a StreamYard user, this is just kind of one of those bonus things that I think a lot of people don't realize, like, oh, I can use it for meetings too. So I was really glad that you guys were covering this topic this week.
Yeah, and there's other things you can do too. It's so easy just to play a video clip. I mean, like if you were on at the beginning of the live stream, the countdown that's just a video file in there. I mean, Christian, if you want to share your screen again, or go back to that, we can show that. So let's say in the middle of your meeting, or whatever part in the meeting, you want to roll a video. So let's say you've been working on something and you want to preview it to your team, or you want to show some shareholders or something like that, the new campaign. You can actually already have that preloaded and play it right there. It's going to mute your mic, or you can unmute yourself and talk over it if you want. If you feel like, well, I want to show something bigger, you can just share your screen. You can do that with audio as well. And it just makes it so much easier because, a lot of these meetings just kind of get boring after a while. I don't know about you. But, so if you can add some things to spice it up and some graphics and things, it's very easy to do. I mean, so this right here, that is an overlay, and that's how we start the show. And it's just that easy. This was done ahead of time. And so just imagine your meeting being able to create just some simple I use Canva. I'm just a Canva geek, and it's just easy to create it and pop it in. And you can create what are called lower thirds if you want to do something custom, which I've seen people do. So, I mean, what do you guys think about that?
Yeah, I love what you said about it. It lets you add a little more flair to your meeting. I mean, you can, especially if it's a client meeting, maybe it's a proposal meeting, maybe it's you trying to sell a big deal, or maybe it's a webinar style kind of thing. I mean, it could be there. The reason why people need to have these virtual presentations are all over the place, but you can really wow those guests in your meeting by adding some of those features that Kevin just pointed out. You could be, let's say you are doing a proposal to a client, you're trying to sell something, then you could actually have a slide that you create and put in as an overlay, and you could pull it up on screen as you're going through the features of whatever it is you're proposing. And then, somebody asked a question about playing video as well. I mean, talk about adding a little extra pizzazz to your meetings. Have some pre-recorded stuff. Maybe you need to do a demo, but you don't want to do it live. Pre-record the demonstration and then play the demonstration in the middle of the meeting. You can use all of these awesome features of StreamYard to do that. So I do think that it definitely, it just makes it makes you stand out, I guess, in your meetings. And if you're having it with a team, then it's also fun. You can have a lot of fun with it too. So, yeah, I gotta hop off, you guys, because speaking of meetings, I got one coming up. But hey, this was fun. Kevin, keep rolling, my friend. You're doing great. I love this. This is great. I love the questions that you're getting because, again, I just think that this is one of those things that maybe people are like, oh, I never thought to use it that way. So I love that you're pointing out all these awesome things. So
sweet.
I will see you guys. Yeah, I'll see you guys soon.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Boom. And just like that.
So Kevin, I added the screen if you want to. Yeah, I can walk through actually a couple of things. I got two things I actually want to walk people through. First is, we talked about being able to play video clips, for example. So for starters, one way you can do that is go to the brand section. And if you go down to the video,
my bad.
Yep, there we go. Go down to the video clip section. You can upload a video 1280 by 720, maximum 200 megabytes or 10 minutes, and 10 minutes. And you just upload your video to the video clip section here. So this will be a way for you to play a quick video that you may have, for example, saved on your hard drive. Now, for those who have longer pre-recorded content, as Mel suggested there, is that you can also click on the share button down here at the bottom and select the video file option. And then that's going to bring that video into my StreamYard dashboard for me to be able to play. So at this point, I don't have a video to actually upload at the moment, but you basically would click on video file. It will appear there just like this. And then I'll have a player that I can add to the stream and then scroll through on the video itself. Another thing, though, I do want to show, by the way, Kevin, and this is actually like, you know how during a meeting, people like maybe want to point to things and all that sort of stuff, right? So one thing you can do is you can install, for example, in your browser, a Chrome extension. And I'm going to show you how to do this. So for example, I installed this Chrome extension here. You can't see it. It's called Web Paint. So it's a Google Chrome extension. I'm going to enable this and I'm going to show you guys how this works. So by the way, this is the first time actually using this. So hopefully I get this right. So let's say I'm like, you know what? Hey, we need to check out the link that's here. Let me see if this works. Yep. So I can literally just draw right on screen here, literally just while this is going on. So if I'm like, hey, let's circle this. Let's, again, crude arrow there. I can also add some text to things. This could be, for example, note to Kevin, please use our brand colors on the background. So for example, I'm literally able to draw on screen within, for example, a meeting that I may be in as well. If somebody's giving a presentation, things like that. This is using a Google Chrome extension, by the way. This is not built into StreamYard. So I did want to show that because I think that is also a feature that people may want at times to be able to do. So that's just using a little free Google Chrome extension called Web Paint.
I use it. I have that all the time. It's really cool to like highlight things, grab a screenshot, send that over, just pulls it in. But I hadn't thought about using that in that way. Have a couple of questions. This one is coming from Jennifer saying, should you ask the meeting participants to make StreamYard full screen so they don't see their own little rectangular backstage in the comments tab and such?
I'm going to let you take that one.
Yeah, I think what Jennifer's asking. So here's the thing. When somebody is backstage, you're going to see partial of what we see. So like I see a lot more on the screen than maybe Christian will see. But, I don't know. I think if you're asking like on their monitor, would it be better if this is not your question, please re-ask it. Would it be better for them to go full screen so they're not distracted? That's really up to them. I mean, like if you could see my screen, I've got another window open and I've got a 27-inch monitor. I've got another screen open over here. I've got icons over here. I've got my iPad there. My camera's shooting over. But I do this more, so I'm used to it. So you might ask them to maybe go full screen. And so if they go full screen, they're going to see more. And also, and Christian, correct me if I'm wrong, but you can control whether your guests see the comments or not, correct?
So they're only seeing the comments if we bring them in. It also depends on the, like if they're logging in as like, for example, as a producer or as the main person on the account, then yeah, they'd see everything. But then the person that comes in backstage as like the guest, and let me just double check this.
Yeah. She's saying, it would be better for them to be full screen on monitor. Otherwise it seems like a lot of white space. Yeah. So I think that's just something. And I think it's a great question, Jennifer, because if people are not used to this technology, I just did something, a meeting not too long ago. Can't really disclose it because it was for a client, but they were so new to this that we wanted to minimize any shock. And there were also a couple of people, which we haven't mentioned, Christian, there were a couple of people on the meeting that wanted to come in on their phones. And that was easy to do. And it was like 8 folks and they were all remotely from the same town, but it was just easier to bring them in. There was one host that would introduce one of them. We would go to a split screen like Christian and I are right now. And then when the other person was talking, it was just easy to just go to that person talking and then come back. So we actually went what I call live to we used to call it live to tape. We taped the meeting and then later they downloaded it and they've been editing and doing some different things from there. So people are asking about the name of the extension.
Yeah, so I just dropped the link to it. It's called Web Paint. That's what I was using. There's Web Paint. There's also one called Draw on Page as well. Basically, it's a Google Chrome extension that you install on your browser. So it's not going to work on mobile, by the way. It installs on desktop on Google Chrome, and then you just enable it while you're sharing, for example, that screen, and then you can just draw right on whatever you have up. So, for example, if you happen to have a presentation open and you're sharing that presentation, you could enable the Chrome extension and then just do some drawing there. Or most of the time, the presentation tools have a laser pointer effect and things like that you can also use.
Question from Kay saying, when in single person mode, is there a way to reduce the image to show background branding the same as in a 2-3 person view?
So you can't do that actually. So yeah, so single view is always going to take up the full screen.
Yeah. Now, one thing you can do though is let me do this. So this is my kit page. I was just trying to throw something together. So this is one option you can do. Now, it shows a little of the background, but it emphasizes you over the information. And then if you wanted to go full screen, so like a second ago when Christian was doing the kind of the behind the scenes, I took it full screen, and all of these options sit right at the bottom. They're very easy to click back and forth to. So that's one way. Somebody said the stream just got prettier once Mel went away. There was another question in here. People are talking about Canva. Yep. Here we go. And I think we addressed this, but so they're asking how easy it is to play a pre-recorded video presentation so the viewers don't know it's a playback.
So, I mean, it's easy to add it. I guess the key thing is why do you care if it's a playback or not? If it's for a meeting, remember, if this is for a meeting, I mean, the thing is, you bring it in, you bring it in full screen, for example. So you'd use, as Kevin was showing earlier, there's a full screen layout option. You bring your video in, you click the full screen layout, and then you play that video that way, I guess. But I'm trying to understand, I guess, why you may not why would you if it's a meeting? I'm gonna throw that back to you, Kevin. Any ideas on that one?
Yeah, I don't really know. I mean, I guess that comes down to a personal thing. I do think there are some folks that want to give, and I'm not saying that this is what you were asking, but they want to give the impression that they're live when they're not. I think it depends on the meeting. Now, one thing you could do, you could actually, and I think Mel kind of touched on this. You could actually record a presentation and go with that live or recorded. Keep in mind, even if you're going live, like right now, we are live to how many locations? 5 maybe. And it's recording a copy of everything we're doing now. But again, you don't have to go live, but you could roll in a 30-minute presentation and then come in after and take questions. So again, you can get very creative with this as opposed to making it not look like it's recorded. I don't know. You are going to get live up here, whether you're live or not. It's just one of the features. So I think that I don't know if that answered it, but that's what I would go. Meg is asking, how did you connect your Canon to become your main camera instead of a built-in laptop camera? Magic, Meg. So I'm using the reason I'm using my M50 Mark II is that it has a clean HDMI out. So even though the screen sees, like I have facial tracking on and I can see that on the screen, I'm coming out with an HDMI cable. Now I'm going through an ATEM Mini, which is kind of like a capture card. It's bringing the audio as well. You can, but you would have to use some type of capture card. And what it does, it just gives you a better video. A better picture. And actually with the ATEM, I can hook up to 3 cameras. I just haven't done that yet because I'm lazy. I think Christian's got that same setup.
I do, yes. And and it works great because basically I can use it to bring in cameras. Like I've got, for example, tablets, and I can hook other computers into it as well. So if you were doing a meeting, this is taking it up a notch, by the way. So if you were running a meeting and you wanted to show a presentation and you still wanted to also be on screen and make it super easy, you could, if your company has, for example, if you have a laptop, you're on the laptop, you have the ATEM Mini, and then in that device you have another laptop hooked up and you've got a presentation on a tablet, you could play it directly from that camera source. So for example, if I push the button right now, it would actually switch to whatever that camera source is, and I could still be on screen if I wanted to. So that's another option, but that's a much more advanced option.
Yeah. Tom's saying they use StreamYard all the time for meetings instead of that other one because it's just simpler for on-screen guests and you have control. And again, that's something that I don't think you can stress enough, is that it's, again, the reason I've been using StreamYard for years is, I co-hosted a video podcast and I've used it for meetings. And it's just, even today, when Christian and Mel joined, it generates a link. Invite your guest. I send them the link and they sign on, and I can see them pop in the backstage back there. And it's just so easy to do that. So think about that for your next meeting. If you have people and let's say, again, I'm in North Carolina, but let's say somebody that you want in the meeting is in Australia. I mean, I don't know what the time difference would be, but you can send them the link and they can pop on, and then you can have them as part of your meeting, whether it's live or you just want to do the recording. And keep in mind, after you go live, you've got the recording too. So
yeah. By the way, there's phenomenal. There's a couple of and another little point about, if you're running meetings, for example, using StreamYard for meetings, I'd always encourage you to recommend that all of the people that attend have them wear headphones, because, if people, for example, are not wearing headphones in a meeting, for example, if it's a remote meeting, you're going to potentially get a lot of noise at that point. If the audio is going to go out, it's going to come back in to the microphone. I mean, and to that point, JC Clark has a question here. And Kevin, I don't know if you can answer this one, maybe.
Well, and he's talking about, he has regulars like you were talking about where even if they have headphones, he gets echoes and delays. Generally, from what I understand, if you use echo cancellation, you don't want to do that, and headphones. You got to be careful about that. Like right now, typically, if I'm using mine, I have over the ear. They're called Me Pods or something like that. They're clear and they go over and come down the back. You don't see them, but that way I could hear. I also just keep my monitor very low over here. Monitor placement can have a lot of impact. Are they on their phone? Are they close to a speaker? We actually did a live stream on this, a couple of weeks ago, about just audio issues and stuff like that. So you ought to check that. And JC is saying, that's not, there was another one right here. Oh, here we go. Shari's saying, it could be like church service. We go live every other Sunday, and on the opposite Sundays, we go live in the beginning and play the recorded service. Yes. Yeah. I mean, that's another great use for that. So like if you have, well, we're going to leave her comment up just a little. My mouse just, there we go. Is that if you're at a church, StreamYard is a great option for that. And, somebody asked earlier about the camera and about the FaceTime. If all you've got is your laptop, use it. That's fine. But yes, you could actually do an entire worship church service with this. And then if you had some pre-recorded, let's say, your pastor can't be there that day, but he's got a message. Well, you could roll that in and be semi-live with recorded. And again, you could send that to your YouTube channel, your Facebook page, or your group, and then you still get a copy of that after. So it just makes it really, really easy.
Yeah. And I think the key thing to kind of drive home here is, for example, if you're going to run a meeting using StreamYard, for example, one way I like to use it is I like to do, for example, interviews. So let's say I'm like, and I mean interviews as in like, let's say it's a job interview. So, for example, for something like that, it's as simple as I set up the broadcast ahead of time. I don't set any destinations. I turn the record only feature on, and then literally I just send the person the invite link and they come backstage, and there's nothing that needs to even be recorded. Like we can have our calls right there. I can showcase presentations or, share documents or things like that if I want somebody to be able to see it. So that's one way you could do this. Another thing I think also that's really important, in terms of like running meetings, I mean, there is going to be some planning involved in this stuff as well. So for example, if you're going to show a presentation, make sure you have your presentation ready. For example, actually, by the way, you can create presentations in Canva and you can export it, for example, as a PDF, open it in your browser tab, for example, and then share that presentation from Canva directly into StreamYard, and it actually looks fantastic.
Yeah.
So that's an option.
That's how I do mine. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really nice. And you know, again, you can get as creative as you want. And I think you'll be really surprised. And again, even if you just want to go solo, if it's just you and you want to make a special announcement and maybe play back to a team or send them, or you just want to record it. Again, like Philippe was asking, you could just record something and then you could take that later and upload it, share it, edit it just out. You know, maybe you're not really sure what you're going to say and you just kind of go through it in pieces and parts. You know, you can use that later and send it to an editor and they could edit it. So yeah, I mean, the things that just make this great, just to recap, like names on screen, how easy it is just right now to take them on, off, or I guess that was off and on. You can add graphics. There's built-in themes and overlays that you already have. Full screens. You can roll in you can roll in videos. You can share your screen multiple times. It's not just like a one and done. You can easily, you know, solo people like that. You can change the layout on the fly if you want to. It's that easy. You can have up to 10 people, which is pretty phenomenal. And you can have more people in the backstage. You can only bring 10 people on at the same time, you know. And if you're live streaming this to any platform, even just one at a time, you don't have to multi-stream it. But if you do, StreamYard makes it easy. Then you automatically get a recorded version of it. And then if you don't want to do it live, then you've got the recorded version, and you got 15 days to download it. And it's just, it's phenomenal. And it's gonna bring in everything in there. So if like you have guests in your meeting and you want to make sure they're part of it, you would have that. So it's not like you got to go back and have them shoot something and then send it to you. It just makes it silly easy.
And I want to throw out a couple of ideas, and I want to answer a couple of questions that I'm going to drop off and let Kevin take over the rest of this. So, you know, I think the first thing would be if you're having a meeting and let's say you want to send out the recordings to people. So after your meeting, you know, make sure obviously you're recording the meeting. After the meeting, go to the drop down at the top, and there'll be an option to download your recordings. You know, and you'll have the video and the audio option there. So like you could always just download that to your hard drive and then put an email out to your attendees, for example, and say, hey, you know, for those of you who didn't get to attend, or you drop it in the calendar invite, whatever, you could send them the file so that they could, for example, go and listen and go and watch the video if they want to. In addition to that, though, you know, if you don't want to do the download option, another option would be to broadcast this to an unlisted destination, or I'd probably do an unlisted destination, like an unlisted YouTube channel. And then that way it will be out on YouTube. You could then copy that link as well if you want to have a recording option, and just send that out to your guests as well. Like, thanks a lot for tuning in. You know, here's the recap, and then it's already out there. You don't have to do anything extra. Yeah. So
You know, it makes it easy.
It does. Yeah. And I want to actually answer just a couple of questions real quick. I'm going to bring them up, and then I'm going to turn it over to you, Kevin. So Dimebag Darren Lowe is asking, you can have a StreamYard meeting, but not broadcast it. Yes. So basically I set up a broadcast. I don't actually have to hit the go live button. I don't even have to hit the record button. Let's say Kevin and I wanted to just chat about something. Mm-hmm. I can have the broadcast set up. I could even just make it a recurring broadcast where, like, for example, in my dashboard, I have an interview. Broadcast set up. I never publish it. I never go live. So it always sits there. And then if I'm like, hey, Kevin, let's have an interview. So like an interview meaning like a job interview. So I send him the invite link. He comes in. We can have our talk. I'm not actually recording anything right there. So I could have, you know, an impromptu meeting. If I did want to record it, that's when I'd want to hit the record option. Or if I wanted to broadcast it out to other channels, you know, make it unlisted, for example, or even private. Howard has a question, by the way. What happens to the other person if the other person does not want the meeting recorded? What do you think, Kevin?
Well, I mean, first of all, I would always let them know up front. They should know. I mean, first of all, you should be getting that permission. It's a great question because it could be very awkward if you're in the middle of it and they go, well, wait a minute, you're not recording this, are you? They will see the live. So like what I explain to folks is when you hit record, you still get a live button. And there were actually, Howard, not too long ago, I was doing a meeting, and there was at least one gentleman on there that wanted to absolutely make sure we were not broadcasting it. And so I explained to him, you're going to see it say live, but we're not live at all. And you just reassure them. But I'd say you'd have to decide that ahead of time, that if it's something that you want to broadcast and share, everybody signs off that they understand that's going to happen. Now, again, like what Christian's talking about too a second ago, this could always be internal. I mean, you could just be doing something that you're sharing with, your stakeholders or your own company or something like that. And you can just reassure them that, yeah, we're recording this, but we're never going to put this like out on, social media somewhere.
Definitely. Yeah. So I got another question here, by the way, from Shanglish Shrestha. So do we have cross-posting options while I'm in the Facebook Live in your Facebook page? So framing this in terms of StreamYard for meetings, you can always, like, if you're doing a broadcast, you can always add destinations, for example, if you want to. Again, you have to kind of look at what, your meeting is and what the content is that's going to be shared and whether that's proprietary. By the way, I do have, a little tip here for you. So for those of you who, are going to be doing a meeting, one thing you may want to consider, this is like an internal only meeting, just throwing that out there. You could always create a background or an overlay that goes up and it just has a thing that says, internal only. So this way, people who are watching know that this is only for you all internal within your company or your organization. Or maybe you could put like internal only or external or allowed to be shared or some kind of phrasing on that overlay. In terms of cross-posting, normally with StreamYard, there is a cross-posting feature on Facebook, but I don't think it's actually working. And that's because Facebook changed some things. It was working at one point and then Facebook broke some code. And so I don't think that actually works at the moment.
Facebook, I mean, like any of the social media platforms, they change things. I know Facebook seems to change things. It seems like recently more often, and all of a sudden something that you might have had access to, you don't anymore. A question that comes up a lot of times is people's names aren't showing up. That's a privacy thing, and it depends on the page versus profile versus a group. So that's something else to think about too. Stuart is saying exactly one of the things we talked about. I've used unlisted on YouTube all the time for training individuals and groups on using StreamYard. And that's a great example of he's using it to go live, but yet only people with that link can see it. And that's a way where you can actually have some maximum impact. And then think about this, after the meeting, if it's like you don't want even the folks that were invited to have access to it, you could just make that link private, and it's like that broadcast is no longer available.
Excellent. Yeah. So I got another, let me take this question. This is from Ezekiel. By the way, this is more of a broader StreamYard question. I want to live stream with StreamYard to 2 different destinations, Facebook and YouTube at the same time, but the email address for the Facebook and YouTube are completely different. So that shouldn't actually really matter. You have to go into your destinations and add this destination separate. So for example, if it's Facebook, it's going to prompt you at Facebook to log in. And then YouTube is the same way. It's going to have you log into the right account. So there shouldn't be any issues there, actually. And if you do have any issues, you can always reach out to streamyard.com/contact. That's our support team. Reach out to them. They can definitely help you with that one.
And one thing too today is that to have Christian and Mel on, I sent them a link. There's an invite button. I sent them a link, and they come into StreamYard, and then we're right now multicasting to many locations: Facebook, Instagram. I mean, not Facebook. No, you can't. Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube. By that, so if you're going to different locations and you need people watching that, you just go grab the URL to that location and share that, or create an email, and just say, hey, here's where we're going to go. And maybe you just pick a specific location you want them to go to, or give them the option. So
definitely. Yeah. Let me see if there's anything else here. So
somebody asked earlier about Instagram. And this comes up a lot, but they were asking about sharing to Instagram. It's an Instagram thing. Yep, Instagram doesn't allow, and I know folks have found workarounds, and what I would always recommend is that you're taking a huge risk with Instagram, because they can basically just delete your account.
Yeah.
It's not a StreamYard thing, it's an Instagram thing. But if you use this, like today, right now, when this is over, we could download and take parts of this and then upload it to Instagram, to our feed, to IGTV, even to Reels. So you can actually repurpose it just like you would repurpose anything anywhere, but you can't go live there. But again, that's an IG thing. That's not a StreamYard thing.
Yeah, and I see quite a few questions on there, yeah, about people asking about the Instagram option. Yeah, it's totally Instagram. Instagram doesn't want you doing that. So that's the thing. That's really the bottom line. Instagram wants you to be on their platform. They want you to do it from their mobile device. That's why they don't support desktop for the most part, for example.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah. And it's one of those things that, what I would say is, you've still got LinkedIn. If you have access to LinkedIn Live, you have Facebook, you have Twitch, you have YouTube. And YouTube being like the biggest of all those. So you do have other options. Maybe you just end up repurposing. So,
yeah. And then one last question I want to take. So Anna's asking, are you guys planning on having backgrounds for us to use like what you guys have now? So we do have a resource area that we have been uploading some things to. There's a few things there. Like we've done some holiday, I think, backgrounds and things like that. You can just email marketing@streamyard.com and just reference, just say backgrounds and countdown timers, and I can send you a link to that. Okay, with that, I'm going to go ahead and drop off. I'm going to let Kevin finish this. This is actually a really great presentation on using StreamYard for meetings. I hope you guys are taking a lot away. I mean, I've got so many ideas just off of listening to your comments and then the comments that Kevin's making as well. So thanks a lot for letting me join.
Thanks for being on, buddy.
Thanks.
All right. So I'm hoping that at some point, if you're watching this on the replay and you missed some of it, go back and just catch some of the highlights. And I think what you'll see is how easy StreamYard makes it. And again, I've been using it for a long time to do meetings, for video podcasts and things like that. And it's just really, really easy to use and get creative with it too. And by the way, if you have a question that you want answered and you think, hey, I would like this maybe featured on the show, then wherever you post that question on social media, use the hashtag Ask StreamYard. And if we use your question on the show, you're going to get your very own StreamYard t-shirt that you can wear everywhere, even snap pictures and stuff like that. All you got to use is hashtag Ask StreamYard. And if we feature it, we're gonna send you some swag. How about that? Hey, look, I really appreciate you being here. I appreciate the questions. They were phenomenal. Everybody's saying hi from all over the World Wide Web. I'm Kevin Colby. Keep creating. We'll see you next time.